an organization that scales is difficult, but building an organization that endures without losing its soul requires an entirely different level of commitment. In both business and service, short-term tactics always lose to long-term principles. True victory is found when profit and purpose are not placed in conflict, but driven together by unyielding core values. I am absolutely thrilled and honored to be joined by a visionary leader who has built 2 world-class organizations using this exact operational playbook. I'm joined by Peter Finn. He's the founder and CEO of Finn Partners, one of the world's largest independent global public relations and marketing agencies. Simultaneously, he founded and built the Catskill Mountain Foundation into one of the Northeast premier arts organizations. He has navigated decades of economic downturns, rapid expansions, and industry disruption, all while fostering a culture that attracts and retains exceptional talent for decades. He's the author of the new book, Driven to Build, Guided by Values, Leading for Long-Term Success in the For-Profit and Non-Profit Worlds. Peter, welcome to Get Down to Business.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I know you argue that values-driven leadership isn't just good ethics, it's good business. And in a corporate world where often we're hyper-focused on quarterly scoreboards and short-term metrics, how do you prove to leaders that long-term values actually produce higher operational success?
That's a good question. For me, I really didn't have a choice. I needed to behave and run my 2 enterprises in a way that was consistent with the values that were important to me. And I've just discovered over time that you can be successful in business. You can be successful in the not-for-profit world and not operate in a ruthless manner, which so many people in business do.
I was mentioning offline that I've worked with some folks in your firm for decades, and your employees stay with your firm for decades in an industry notoriously known for rapid turnover. What is the secret to building an organizational culture where people feel empowered, trusted, and genuinely inspired to come to work every single day?
Well, we have 7 core values, which were at the heart of Finn Partners when I launched it 15 years ago. And one of those was to create a best place to work environment. The reason that's important to me, because it's so obvious that if you create a best place to work environment, you're going to keep the best talent and you're going to attract the best talent. And that's key. Talent is key to being successful in business. So it's been very intentional that I've tried to build an environment that people want to stay.
You're doing a great job. You've built 2 completely different entities, a global communications agency and a premier regional arts foundation. What are the core leadership principles that remain identical, whether you're running a high-stakes corporate boardroom or a mission-driven nonprofit?
Well, I think that the core values for Finn Partners, some of those grew out of what I learned through the Catskill Mountain Foundation, because I started the Catskill Mountain Foundation almost 30 years ago, and Finn Partners only 15 years ago. So some of the common elements between the 2 of them are amaze, take risks, and seek to amaze the people who are watching you. So think big. And if you think big, take risks, do so cautiously. But if you don't take risks, you don't think big, you're never going to accomplish something amazing. So those are key elements that have driven me for both the Catskill Mountain Foundation and Finn Partners.
I have to ask, Peter Finn, before you built a global agency or a major foundation, who was the mentor or leader earlier in your life who instilled these core values in you? And what was that specific lesson they taught that stuck with you forever?
Well, my father was a big influence on me, and he was my best friend and my boss and my business partner and my mentor. And values and how you treat people was very important to him. And so I learned everything I know about values from him.
That's powerful. I know you've spent your life building both in the fast-paced corporate world and in the quiet beauty of the Catskills. When you step away from the pressure of running a global firm, what's the personal pursuit or environment where you go to recharge your own batteries and reflect?
So I'm a big reader. I have a library at my house with over 3,000 books, and I spend as much of my time on the weekends reading as I can. The problem I have is that I buy new books faster than I can read them, so my list of books to read is always growing. But that's how I That's what I do when I'm not working and when I'm not involved in the Catch the Mountain Foundation.
If I were to ask the people who've worked alongside you at Finn Partners for the last 25 years to describe Peter Finn in just one word or phrase, what do you think they would say? And what would you hope that they would say?
I think they would say that I'm genuine and that I'm kind. And I would be happy with that.
That's awesome. Peter, we're going to squeeze a break in just a moment, but I know you've led organizations through major, again, downturns, market shifts, and disruptions. What would you say is the mindset required for a leader to keep their team focused and grounded when the horizon is completely uncertain?
Well, I think it's important to stay calm and to stay focused on the long goal. And whatever problems we've encountered, and you're right, there have been many ups and downs, whatever problems we've encountered, I've always known that if I just stay focused on the long term, we'll get through the problems. And we always have.
Mm-hmm. And just before we cut to break, one more question. Looking back over your career as a builder, as a mentor, what's the single most critical leadership lesson you wish you had learned earlier? And what advice would you want to give to the next generation of builders?
Well, I think the advice that I would give to the next generation of builders are what I've already said, is take risks and think big, set a goal of trying to amaze those who are watching you. Another goal, which has been very important to me, another value is collaboration. Everything I've accomplished because I've worked closely with other people who I know more than I do in many cases.
I'm chatting with Peter Finn, the author of Driven to Build, Guided by Values. Peter, in the title, you place the drive to build right alongside core values. So in your experience, when a business owner has immense drive but lacks an established values compass, what are the first operational cracks that might start showing up in their organization?
Well, the problem with being driven to build without the core values is then you begin treating people badly because you want to be successful at any cost, which is not how I operate. And if you do that, then you're going to lose people, and you're going to get a lot of people angry at you as you progress through your career.
Mm. And you dedicated an entire chapter to balancing profit with purpose, something we talk about a lot on Get Down to Business. When you look at younger founders that are stepping into the market today, do you find they struggle more with over-focusing on immediate profit or getting lost in purpose without a sustainable business model?
I don't think I can make any generalizations. Every person is different. So it really depends upon their own internal makeup. There are people, you won't be successful in business or in the not-for-profit world unless you're ambitious and think big. But some people just have those values built into them and they can't operate any other way. Others don't. So I can't make any generalizations about young people entering the business world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you write extensively about creating a culture that retains exceptional talent over long horizons. What's the practical difference in how you manage, evaluate, and reward employees when you're optimizing for a longer tenure versus a 3-year turnover cycle?
Well, I think that one of our core values is work hard and play nice. And I repeat this all the time to our staff. Every new hire gets a letter that I've written for our employees about our core values. The first one I talk about is work hard and play nice. And play nice means treat everybody with respect. And if you have a culture like that, then I think the core values will carry you through whatever problems you have to deal with.
Okay, so Peter, long-term thinking sounds great on paper, but Wall Street and private equity often push for aggressive, short-term quarterly wins. How do you maintain the discipline of long-term decision-making when outside economic pressures are demanding quick fixes?
Right. Okay. Well, I think this is a very important point you raise. Finn Partners is independent. Most of the global public relations and marketing services industry is owned by publicly traded holding companies, and they have no choice, but they have to think short term because it's all about their stock price. Private equity, it's basically the same thing. Private equity buyer was focused on how they're going to double their investment within 3 to 5 years. We don't have either of those problems. We're independent, we're driven by our values, and I have the luxury of being able to think long term.
I love it, Peter. This is why I've been so excited to have you on the show. And as I mentioned earlier, just a shout out to your team, because they are among the nicest people that I interact with in relation to this show. And they're exceptional. So you've built an amazing organization. Once again, I'm chatting with the founder and CEO of Fin Partners, one of the world's largest independent global public relations and marketing agencies, as well as the founder and builder of the Catskill Mountain Foundation, one of the Northeast's premier arts organizations. Peter, the book is Driven to Build, Guided by Values, Leading for Long-Term Success in the For-Profit and Nonprofit Worlds. Where can we find the book? Where can we learn more about the firm? Where can we get in touch with your team?
So the book is available on Amazon or at any bookstore. There are other authors named Peter Finn, so you can't just look up Peter Finn. You have to look up Driven to Build by Peter Finn. So it's widely available. In terms of finding out more about Fin Partners, go to our website, www.finpartners.com.
Fantastic. We'll link in the show notes as well. And we'll make sure to also link to the Catskill Mountain Foundation. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for teaching us as well. That's a wrap for us this week on the show, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We'll be back next week, of course, a brand new show to success. Let's get down to business.